You may be here because you do not feel healed, not in any obvious way. Not in the way people often describe healing as relief, clarity, or sudden peace, but rather as a quiet continuation of tiredness, of uncertainty, of carrying emotions that do not seem resolved. And this can make you wonder if anything is actually changing at all. If all the time you have spent resting, reflecting, or simply surviving has led anywhere. Yet love speaks gently into this doubt to tell you that healing does not always announce itself. It does not always arrive with noticeable shifts. It often unfolds quietly, beneath the surface, in ways that are not immediately visible or measurable. You may feel frustrated by how slow everything seems, how familiar the pain still feels, how easily old fears return, and this frustration can lead you to believe that healing has not begun, that something is wrong with you, that you are stuck. But healing is not absent simply because it is quiet. It does not fail because it moves slowly. It works in places you cannot see yet. Quiet healing does not demand your awareness. It does not require you to notice it happening. It does not pause when you feel discouraged. It continues gently even when you doubt it is real. You may have expected healing to make you feel lighter, stronger, more confident. And when that has not happened, you may feel disappointed, even ashamed for still feeling the way you do. But love does not measure healing by how different you feel today compared to yesterday. It measures it by the safety being restored inside you, by the softening of places that once stayed rigid, by the gradual return of trust where there was only tension. Healing often begins by calming what has been constantly braced, by teaching your body that it no longer needs to stay alert, by allowing emotions to exist without being pushed away or fixed. And this process is subtle, easily overlooked, because it does not create dramatic change at first. It creates steadiness. You may not feel better yet, but you may feel slightly less panicked, slightly less pressured, slightly less compelled to solve everything immediately. And these small shifts matter more than you realize. Healing is happening quietly when you allow yourself to rest without guilt, when you stop demanding immediate answers, when you let emotions pass through you without judging them, even if they return again and again. It is happening when you stay instead of abandoning yourself, when you soften instead of tightening, when you choose gentleness over force, even if only for a moment. You may feel impatient with this kind of healing because it does not offer proof. It does not reassure your mind with certainty. It asks you to trust something unfolding slowly, and trust can feel difficult when you have been disappointed before. But love does not rush you into trust. It allows it to grow naturally, quietly, through repeated experiences of being held without harm. Healing does not require you to understand what happened, to label your pain correctly, or to explain your feelings clearly. It only requires space, patience, and safety is being restored even now, in this moment of stillness. You may still feel broken, incomplete, or unsure of yourself, and these feelings do not cancel healing. They coexist with it, because healing does not erase the past, it integrates it, allowing you to carry your story without being crushed by it. Quiet healing often looks like nothing changing on the outside while something slowly settles on the inside, like breath becoming deeper without effort, like tension releasing without announcement, like emotions losing some of their sharpness even if they still appear. You may not feel ready to say you are healing, and you do not have to. Healing does not require affirmation. It does not depend on your belief to continue. It simply moves at the pace your system can tolerate. Love understands that too much change too quickly can feel unsafe. So healing often arrives gently, respecting your limits, honoring the ways you learn to survive. You are not behind because you are still tired. You are not failing because you still feel sensitive. You are not doing it wrong because peace has not fully arrived. Healing is not a destination you reach and stay at. It is a gradual return to yourself, unfolding in layers. Even now, as you listen or rest or simply exist, something is easing inside you. Something is learning that it does not have to be ready for danger, that it does not have to stay tense to stay safe. And this learning takes time because it is happening at a level deeper than thought. You may not be able to name what is changing, but you may notice moments where your reaction is softer, where your breath slows, where your mind drifts without fear, and these moments are signs of healing doing its quiet work. You are not required to monitor this process, to track your progress, to evaluate how well you are healing, because healing is not a task you perform, it is a response to being held long enough. Quiet healing does not demand effort. It unfolds when pressure is removed, when you allow yourself to be as you are without constant self-correction. You may still carry grief, disappointment, or unanswered questions, and healing does not rush to remove these. It sits with them, allowing them to exist without overwhelming you. Love does not insist that you feel better before it stays close. It remains present while healing happens slowly, gently, beneath your awareness. You are not stuck because things feel the same. You are not regressing because emotions resurface. Healing often revisits familiar places, not to trap you, but to soften them further. Even when nothing feels different, something is changing. Something is being restored quietly, patiently, without demand, and you do not need to see it yet for it to be real. For now, you are allowed to rest here without proving anything, without measuring progress, trusting that healing is happening quietly, even in the stillness, even in the uncertainty, even when you feel unchanged, you are being cared for in ways deeper than you can see. There are times when the quietness of healing feels less like peace and more like absence. When days pass and nothing seems different, when your emotions still return in familiar ways, when your body still holds tension, when your thoughts still circle the same questions. And in these moments it can feel as though all the gentleness, all the resting, all the waiting has led nowhere, as if you are standing still while time moves on around you. And this feeling can bring discouragement, doubt, and a subtle sense of failure. Yet love speaks softly into this space to remind you that healing is not always something you can observe from the inside. When you cannot see any progress at all, it does not mean progress is not happening. It often means the work being done is foundational, happening beneath awareness, restoring safety before change becomes visible. You may expect healing to show itself through fewer emotions, clearer thoughts, lighter days, and when these signs do not appear, it is natural to wonder if you are doing something wrong, if you missed a step, if you waited too long. But healing does not follow a checklist. It follows the pace of your nervous system, the rhythm your body can tolerate without becoming overwhelmed again. You may feel stuck because your pain still feels familiar, because triggers still exist, because rest has not erased your fatigue. Yet familiarity does not mean permanence. It simply means these patterns have been with you long enough to feel normal. Quiet healing often works by slowly changing how you relate to what remains, not by removing it all at once. You may still feel sadness, but it may move through you with less urgency. You may still feel fear, but it may not take over your whole body. You may still feel tired, but perhaps you rest without as much guilt. And these subtle shifts are easy to dismiss because they do not look like dramatic improvement, yet they are signs of something important changing. When you cannot see progress, your mind may push you to evaluate, to compare yourself to others, to measure how long this has lasted, and these comparisons can make healing feel inadequate. But love does not compare your journey to anyone else's. It does not rush you to match an external timeline. It stays with you in the reality of your experience. You may feel tempted to abandon gentleness and return to effort, to force change, to push yourself harder so you can feel movement again, because stillness can feel unbearable when you are afraid it means stagnation. Yet love does not equate stillness with failure. It understands that stillness is often where repair happens. There are parts of you that learn to survive through alertness, through readiness, through constant scanning for danger, and these parts do not release their vigilance quickly. They need repeated experiences of safety before they soften, and this repetition takes time. Healing is happening quietly when you wake up and your body is slightly less tense. Even if you do not notice it, when your breath deepens on its own, when your shoulders drop without instruction, when your thoughts drift instead of racing, and these moments may come and go without you recognizing them as healing, but they matter. You may feel discouraged because you expected to feel more hopeful by now, more confident, more certain about the future. Yet healing does not always bring hope first. Sometimes it brings neutrality, a reduction in intensity, a softening of extremes, and neutrality can feel empty if you are used to living in heightened states. When nothing feels different, it can feel lonely, as if you are doing this work alone, unseen. But love is not waiting for visible results to remain present. It stays with you in the unremarkable days, in the repetition, in the quiet persistence of simply getting through. You are not failing because healing is slow. You are not weak because progress is invisible. You are not broken because old feelings return. Healing often revisits familiar places to make them safer, not to trap you there. You may notice that even though your pain still exists, you recover from it slightly faster, or it affects you slightly less deeply, or you respond with more compassion toward yourself. And these are changes worth honoring, even if they feel small. When you cannot see progress, it is easy to believe that nothing you do matters, that rest is pointless, that gentleness is ineffective. But healing is not a result of effort. It is a response to safety, and safety builds slowly through consistency, not intensity. Love does not ask you to prove that healing is happening. It does not demand evidence before it continues caring. It simply remains, offering the conditions healing needs to unfold. You may still have days where everything feels heavy again, where exhaustion returns fully, where doubt convinces you that you are back at the beginning. But healing is not undone by difficult days. It absorbs them, learning how to move through them with less harm. Progress is not linear. It does not move forward in a straight line. It spirals, revisiting the same themes with increasing gentleness, decreasing urgency. And this can feel confusing if you expect constant improvement. When you cannot see progress, it may help to remember that much of healing happens in ways you cannot observe directly, like muscles relaxing after long tension, like trust rebuilding after betrayal, like safety returning after threat. These changes do not announce themselves, they reveal themselves slowly over time. You are not required to feel healed for healing to be real. You are not required to be optimistic for progress to continue. You are not required to believe everything will be okay. Healing does not depend on your confidence, it depends on your willingness to remain. Even now, as you listen, as you rest, as you exist without trying to fix anything, something is settling. Something is learning that it does not need to rush, that it does not need to prepare for the worst, that it can soften without danger. You may not notice this learning yet, but it is happening quietly, steadily, patiently. Love does not withdraw when you feel discouraged. It does not step back when you doubt the process. It stays especially close when you cannot see any progress at all, holding you through the uncertainty, trusting the slow work unfolding beneath the surface. You are allowed to feel tired of waiting, tired of hoping, tired of trusting something you cannot see. And these feelings do not stop healing. They are part of it. Healing is not something you accomplish by understanding it. It is something that happens when you are held long enough without harm. Even if today feels exactly like yesterday, Even if nothing seems different, even if you are tempted to give up on the idea that anything is changing, healing is still happening quietly, deeper than your awareness, restoring safety one moment at a time, and you do not need to see it yet for it to be real. There is a kind of trust that does not feel confident or certain, a trust that does not come with clarity or reassurance, but exists quietly as a willingness to stay. And this is often the trust that healing asks of you when nothing on the surface seems to be changing. You may not feel hopeful, you may not feel encouraged, you may not even feel particularly patient, yet something in you continues to breathe, to rest, to remain, and this remaining is already a form of trust, even if it does not feel like one. Trusting what is changing beneath the surface does not mean you suddenly believe everything will be okay. It means you allow the possibility that something gentle is happening beyond your awareness, something you do not need to manage or understand. You may be used to trusting only what you can see, what you can measure, what you can explain, and when healing moves in ways that offer no visible proof, it can feel unsafe to rely on it. But love does not ask you to force belief, it invites you to soften your resistance just enough to allow support to continue. Beneath the surface of your thoughts, beneath the familiar patterns of emotion, beneath the sensations that still feel unresolved, your system is learning something new. It is learning that it does not have to stay braced, that danger is not constant, that rest does not lead to loss, and this learning takes place slowly, quietly, through repetition rather than insight. You may not notice when your body releases tension it has held for years. You may not feel the moment when fear loosens its grip slightly. You may not recognize when trust begins to form, because these changes are subtle, unfolding without announcement, yet they are real. Trusting what is changing beneath the surface means allowing yourself to stop checking for progress, to stop scanning for signs that something is working, to stop interrogating your experience for proof, because constant evaluation can interrupt the very safety healing needs. You may feel uneasy letting go of monitoring, afraid that if you stop paying attention, nothing will happen. But healing does not require supervision, it requires space. Love does not withdraw when you stop watching. It continues to hold you even when your awareness drifts, even when you fall asleep, even when your thoughts wander far away. There is a deep kindness in allowing healing to happen without your involvement, in trusting that your body and spirit know how to move toward balance when pressure is removed. You may have learned to survive by staying alert, by anticipating what could go wrong, by controlling as much as possible, and this vigilance may have kept you safe once, but it can make trust feel dangerous now. Yet love does not ask you to abandon caution all at once. It simply offers another experience alongside it, an experience of being held without needing to stay ready. Beneath the surface, your nervous system is responding to this holding, gradually recalibrating, learning that rest does not equal threat, that stillness does not mean vulnerability, that letting go does not lead to harm, and this learning happens even when you feel unsure. Trusting what is changing beneath the surface does not require optimism. It does not require faith in outcomes. It only requires permission for the process to continue. You may still have doubts, questions, moments where you feel frustrated or hopeless, and these do not stop healing. They are held within it, because healing is not fragile. It is resilient in its quiet way. You may notice that you react differently to the same situations, not dramatically, but with slightly less intensity, slightly more space, and this space is where trust begins to live. You may still feel pain, but it may not consume you entirely. You may still feel fear, but it may not dictate every response. And these small differences are signs of something shifting beneath awareness. Trust does not arrive as certainty here. It arrives as tolerance for not knowing. as willingness to stay present without answers, as acceptance of slowness without panic. Love understands that rushing trust would feel unsafe, so it allows it to grow organically, rooted in experience rather than belief. Beneath the surface, patterns that once protected you are slowly loosening, making room for gentler responses, and this loosening can feel uncomfortable because it is unfamiliar, yet love remains steady, providing consistency while everything else recalibrates. You do not need to convince yourself that healing is happening. You do not need to repeat affirmations. You do not need to feel calm or positive. Healing does not depend on your mental state. It depends on the presence of safety over time. Trusting what is changing beneath the surface means allowing yourself to be exactly where you are without rushing toward where you think you should be. It means letting today be what it is without turning it into evidence for or against your future. You are not behind because healing is quiet. You are not failing because progress is subtle. You are participating in a process that honors your limits and protects you from overwhelm. Even now, as you rest in this moment, something is being restored, something is settling, something is learning that it can ease without consequence, and you do not need to feel this learning for it to be real. Love holds you while these changes unfold, patient and unhurried, not demanding trust, but earning it slowly, gently, beneath the surface, where healing is already happening. There comes a point in quiet healing where the most difficult step is not enduring pain or wading through uncertainty, but allowing yourself to stop trying to make healing happen, to stop supervising the process, to stop correcting yourself when you do not feel different yet. And this letting go can feel unsettling because effort may have been the way you survived, the way you stayed safe, the way you felt some sense of control in situations that once overwhelmed you. Yet love speaks gently into this place to tell you that healing does not require your constant involvement. It does not need you to manage it, accelerate it, or prove it is working. You may have learned that nothing changes unless you push, unless you analyze, unless you stay alert, so releasing effort can feel like neglect, like giving up, like risking stagnation. But healing is not a fragile process that collapses without pressure. It is resilient, steady, and deeply responsive to rest. When you stop trying to heal, something subtle shifts. Your body senses that it no longer has to perform recovery, that it no longer has to meet expectations, and this absence of demand creates space for repair that effort could not reach. You may feel uneasy trusting a process you cannot control, especially if control once protected you from harm. Yet love does not ask you to abandon control abruptly. It simply invites you to loosen your grip enough to rest. Allowing healing to continue without your effort means giving yourself permission to have days where you do nothing right, where you feel no insight, no motivation, no visible change, and trusting that these days are not wasted. They are part of the work. You may notice resistance to this idea, a voice that insists you should be trying harder, thinking differently, improving faster, but love does not join this urgency. It stays calm, reminding you that healing is not a test you can fail. There is a deep kindness in allowing yourself to be carried by a process larger than your understanding, in letting your body and spirit move toward balance at their own pace, without interference. Healing beneath effort often looks like rest without guilt, like allowing emotions to pass without analysis, like choosing softness when your instinct is to brace. And these choices may feel small, but they create the conditions healing needs. You do not need to hold yourself together for healing to happen. You do not need to stay positive. You do not need to stay disciplined, because healing is not powered by will. It is supported by safety. Love provides this safety consistently, not withdrawing when you feel discouraged, not pulling away when you doubt the process, not becoming impatient when progress is slow. You may still have moments where you feel compelled to check, to measure, to evaluate how far you have come, and love does not judge these moments. It simply invites you back into rest when you are ready. Allowing healing to continue without your effort means accepting that some changes happen too quietly to be noticed until long after they have settled. That some wounds close slowly, without sensation, without celebration. You are not responsible for making yourself whole again. You are allowed to be held while wholeness returns in its own time. There is nothing you need to fix tonight, nothing you need to understand, nothing you need to improve for healing to keep moving. It is already underway, steady and patient. Even now, as you release the need to try, something inside you responds with relief, with a subtle easing, with permission to stop striving. And this relief is not the end of healing. It is one of its beginnings. Love remains with you as healing continues quietly, without effort, without urgency, without demand, carrying what you no longer need to hold, allowing restoration to unfold gently, naturally, and safely, exactly as it needs to. There is often a moment in gentle healing when you begin to notice not what has changed, but what no longer feels as urgent as it once did. When the sharp edges of fear soften slightly, when the need to rush toward answers loosens its grip, and this subtle easing can feel unfamiliar, even suspicious, because you may be used to intensity as proof that something matters. Yet love invites you to recognize that restoration does not need urgency to be real. Learning to trust the quiet pace of restoration means allowing yourself to move at the speed your inner world requires, not the speed you think you should be moving, and this can feel challenging if you have learned to equate slowness with stagnation or weakness. You may notice a desire to hurry healing along, to skip ahead to relief, to reach a version of yourself that feels more stable or certain. But love does not rush you forward. It stays with you exactly where you are, honoring the pace that keeps you safe. Quiet restoration often unfolds in moments that feel ordinary, unremarkable, easily dismissed, moments where you choose rest instead of pushing, where you respond with gentleness instead of criticism, where you allow a feeling to exist without trying to change it. And these moments accumulate slowly, building a foundation of safety that supports deeper healing. You may feel impatient with this process because it does not offer immediate reward. It does not provide clear milestones. Yet love does not measure progress by speed. It measures it by sustainability. Healing that moves too quickly can overwhelm what it is trying to repair, while healing that moves quietly respects your limits and preserves your sense of safety. Learning to trust this pace means releasing the belief that you must constantly feel better to be healing, that improvement must be obvious to be valid, that rest is only acceptable if it leads to visible change. Love gently reminds you that rest itself is restorative, that pausing is not wasted time, that doing less can be an act of deep care. You may still have days where old patterns resurface, where fatigue feels heavy again, where doubt returns, and these days do not undo what is happening. They are part of the rhythm of restoration, a rhythm that allows movement forward and backward without judgment. Trusting the quiet pace does not mean you never feel frustrated. It means you allow frustration to exist without letting it define the process. You are not required to like how slow this feels, you are only invited to stay. Restoration is happening in the way your body learns to relax a little more easily, in the way your mind does not cling as tightly to every thought, in the way your emotions pass through with slightly less resistance, and these changes may be so subtle that you notice them only in hindsight. Love understands that you may need reassurance, that you may question whether this slowness is enough, and it offers reassurance not through dramatic shifts but through consistency, through staying present day after day without withdrawing. Learning to trust the quiet pace of restoration means allowing yourself to be unfinished without anxiety, to be in process without pressure, to be healing without proof. You are not late, you are not behind, you are not missing something everyone else has figured out. You are moving in a way that honors your nervous system, your history, your need for gentleness. Quiet restoration does not compete with urgency, it outlasts it, building something stable rather than something fast. You do not need to push yourself toward peace. Peace emerges naturally when you are held long enough without harm. Even now, as you rest in this moment, you are participating in restoration simply by allowing yourself to be here, by not forcing change, by trusting that the pace you are moving at is not a mistake. Love remains patient with you, unhurried and steady, inviting you to continue at this quiet pace, knowing that healing does not need to rush to be complete. It only needs time, safety, and the permission to unfold exactly as it is doing now. There is a moment in quiet healing when you realize that the most exhausting part has not been the pain itself, but the constant effort to hold it, to manage it, to stay aware of it so it does not overwhelm you. And this realization can feel both relieving and frightening, because letting go of that effort means trusting something beyond your control. You may have spent a long time keeping careful watch over your inner world, monitoring your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, believing that awareness was the only thing keeping you safe. And while this vigilance may have helped you survive, it may also have kept you from resting fully, because rest requires the willingness to stop watching. Love meets you gently here, not asking you to drop everything at once, not demanding surrender, but inviting you to soften just enough to allow healing to reach places you no longer have the energy to touch. There are parts of you that have been worked on endlessly, analyzed, revisited, explained, and still they ache, still they feel unresolved. Not because you have failed to understand them, but because understanding was never what they needed. Some places inside you do not respond to insight, they respond to safety, and safety is created not by effort, but by being held without demand. Letting healing reach what you no longer touch means allowing yourself to stop reopening wounds just to check if they still hurt, to stop revisiting memories to see if they have softened yet, to stop asking yourself whether you should be further along by now. This is not avoidance, it is wisdom, the recognition that some healing happens only when attention rests elsewhere, when pressure is removed, when the system is allowed to settle without being observed. You may fear that if you stop paying attention, something important will be missed, that pain will grow unchecked, that things will fall apart, but healing does not need supervision to be real. It does not require constant engagement. It continues quietly even when you are tired of trying. Love does not abandon the places you no longer touch. It holds them for you, gently and patiently, without asking you to explain what hurts or why. There is a deep kindness in allowing yourself to be held in this way, in trusting that you do not have to access every part of yourself for healing to continue, that you do not have to be brave enough to face everything tonight. Some parts of you learned long ago that staying guarded was necessary, that opening too quickly led to harm, and healing respects this history. It does not force access, it waits for readiness that often comes through rest rather than courage. You may notice moments when your body releases tension unexpectedly, when your breath deepens without instruction, when emotions move through you without being named, and these moments are often signs that healing is reaching places your mind cannot reach, places that only respond when effort steps aside. Letting go does not mean you are giving up on yourself. It means you are trusting yourself enough to stop managing everything. You are not irresponsible for resting. You are not neglecting your healing by not engaging with it actively, because healing is not a task you complete. It is a response to being held long enough without harm. There are things inside you that will heal without ever being brought into language, without being understood, without being revisited consciously. And this does not make that healing less real, it often makes it more complete. You may still feel cautious, still unsure how much you can let go. And love does not rush this. It stays close while you release what you can, when you can. Letting healing reach what you no longer have to hold also means accepting that you do not need to carry your entire story with awareness every day, that you are allowed to forget, to drift, to rest in moments where nothing is being processed. These moments are not empty, they are fertile. They give your system the space it needs to reorganize gently. You are not abandoning parts of yourself by letting them rest. You are honoring them by no longer forcing them to perform or explain themselves. Healing does not need you to be present everywhere. It only needs you to be safe somewhere, and love provides that safety consistently. Even now, as you stop reaching inward, as you allow yourself to simply exist without touching what feels tender, something inside you responds with relief, with a subtle easing, with permission to stop holding what has been heavy for too long. You do not need to know what is healing, how it is healing, or when it will feel different. You are allowed to trust that being held is enough for restoration to continue. Love remains with every part of you, including the parts you no longer touch, carrying them gently, patiently, without urgency, allowing healing to reach deeper than effort, deeper than awareness, deeper than control, quietly restoring what you could not fix, exactly as you rest here now. There is a kind of rest that comes not from feeling finished or fixed, but from realizing that you no longer need to stay awake to your own healing, that you do not have to keep checking whether something is changing, that you are allowed to rest even while parts of you are still tender, still unresolved, still learning how to feel safe again. And this realization can arrive quietly, almost unnoticed, like a soft settling inside your chest. Resting while healing continues on its own means allowing yourself to stop participating actively in the process, to stop trying to guide it, to stop wondering if you are resting correctly or deeply enough, because rest does not require technique, it requires permission. You may have believed that healing demanded your constant presence, that if you stopped paying attention something important would be missed, that vigilance was the price of safety. But love gently shows you that healing does not pause when you rest. It does not slow down when you sleep. It does not depend on your awareness to keep moving. In fact, some of the deepest healing happens only when you are no longer trying, when your body and spirit are finally free to reorganize without being observed. There is a quiet relief in realizing that you can lie down inside yourself, that you can stop holding everything together, that nothing essential will fall apart if you let go. You may notice that when you rest this way, without monitoring, without expectation, your breath deepens naturally, your muscles soften without instruction, your thoughts lose their urgency, drifting instead of demanding answers. And this drifting is not avoidance, it is restoration. Resting while healing continues on its own means trusting that there is a wisdom within you that knows how to move toward balance. A wisdom shaped by care, patience, and time, not by force. You may still have moments where discomfort arises, where old feelings surface briefly, where tension returns, and these moments do not mean rest has failed. They are simply part of the rhythm of healing, waves that pass through a system that is learning it no longer has to fight them. Love does not ask you to remain alert during these moments. It does not require you to intervene. It stays with you, holding everything gently until the wave passes. There is no task you need to complete tonight, no insight you need to reach, no emotional breakthrough you need to achieve for healing to continue. It is already happening in the background, quietly and steadily, while you rest. You are allowed to become very still, to let your awareness fade, to stop listening closely, to drift towards sleep without concern, because healing does not need your attention to be effective. Resting in this way can feel unfamiliar if you are used to effort, if striving has been your default response to discomfort. But love does not rush you into deeper rest. It allows it to unfold naturally as trust builds. You are not irresponsible for resting. You are not neglecting yourself by letting go. You are responding to a deeper need, the need to be held without having to do anything in return. Healing that continues on its own is not fragile. It is not easily disrupted. It is resilient precisely because it is not forced. Even as you rest, even as your thoughts slow and your consciousness softens, something inside you is learning that it can exist without pressure, that it can recover without urgency, that it can be safe without constant effort. You do not need to witness this learning. You do not need to remember it. You do not need to believe in it fully. It is happening regardless, supported by love that does not sleep, that does not withdraw, that does not ask for your participation. Rest is not a pause in healing. It is one of its most essential movements, a space where repair can deepen without resistance. You are allowed to sink into this rest now, to let yourself be carried, to trust that healing continues quietly, gently, and faithfully, even as you release into stillness, knowing that nothing important is being neglected, nothing meaningful is being lost, and everything that needs care is being held while you rest.